like I always tell people, I don't ever mind any question as long as you don't mind the answer.
Mm.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of times people ask me things intentionally to be triggering, but then when, you know, they get blasted on, they're upset at how hard I went.
Yeah.
And what I think people should understand is like, if you intentionally try to get a reaction out of somebody, if you get a reaction just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's wrong.
Right.
You got to deal with what you just asked for. So I'm like that with teasing. Like if you don't snap on me, I won't never snap on you. But one joke, it's on for life.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have started it. You can't smack me and tell you how hard to smack you back, and then get mad at me because you weren't expecting to get slapped that hard.
Right.
And that's usually what happens. It usually looks abusive after a while, but it's usually that person starting.
Right.
And it'd be like, yo, and you have to understand, like, I come from an environment where if one person does something to you, everyone tries, even the weak people.
Right.
And even if you could beat everybody, nobody feels like doing that much fighting.
Mm.
So sometimes you just want to be like, look, I'd rather have an intellectual conversation
Yeah.
than a conversation where, you know, I might have to say something that makes you uncomfortable on your own platform and be dead right about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that you could be mad about is how I said it.
Right.
And that's another thing, like people get upset about how you say things because that's an emotional thing instead of what you say.
Right.
And that's a test. Like the devil is going to say something nice to you in a nice way. And you're going to like the devil. And then he's going to trick the shit out of you like he has.
Right.
You know,
But that's powerful, because on the opposite polar end of that, God can say something to you that's good for you, but you don't like the way he said it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the society we got now, where people so stuck in their emotions, they get caught on the connotation, what they feel about things rather than what they think about it, because most people are not good thinkers.
well, they're just emotional.
Yeah.
And the thing about God's lessons, God is ruthless. When God teaches you, you'd rather get taught from me in a tone you don't like than God's tone. Because God gives you a shot. He says it nicely first, or her. And then the next time, he gives you some pain. And that's the way people usually learn from pain. It's stupid to me not to learn from other people's pain if you have the option. But some people are so arrogant, they think that they're better than someone else. It's just like somebody that hustles and thinks they won't get caught. If 99.5% of the people that hustle get caught, or that commit a crime get caught,
Yeah.
it's like, why would you think you're going to win lotto in that way?
Well, people think they special without doing anything special.
But the things they think they're special about are the things they shouldn't. You should think you're special about not having to break the law to make money.
Right.
You should think you're special about not having to listen to what's told to you that's not logical. That's the problem. We're actually taught not to think we're special. You know what affirmations are?
Yes, sir.
It's someone saying, oh, I am important. I am strong. But you can't tell me how to give myself affirmations. When I was young, me saying that I'm the flyest and I'm the best, I'm called cocky and arrogant. Nah, that's you trying to tell me how to give myself affirmations.
Yeah.
I tell myself I'm great because I know I'm great. If I don't know I'm great, how is anybody else going to think I'm great? You going to tell me I should feel bad about telling myself I'm good because I'm not saying it like a yogi?
Right.
You can't tell somebody how to pray.
Well, we live in a world that'll better hear you call yourself a nigga than a god.
No, that's a program.
Yeah.
We're living in a world where we're programmed to say that so that we divide and hate each other so we can't move ahead and so we won't stick together. It's our responsibility not to blame people for giving us that program. We have to blame ourselves for not being aware of it.
And accepting it.
And accepting it or looking the other way because you're used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're programmed, when you're like raised to, or what do they call that? When they like a
Like traditionalism.
when you just got when you're groomed.
Yeah.
When you're groomed to think that, number one, God is not your color. When you're groomed to think that you should be lucky not to be working for somebody, doing labor for somebody else, that you should be lucky to be able to sit in another man's house that's not yours and just be able to work in it. You should be lucky to give me your master so that I can sell it back to you.
Yeah.
Lucky I'm doing. Of course, they're going to say that nicely. Of course, they're going to say that over and over again. And the challenge is, it's a challenge. It's a test. The test is if you're told something over and over again, if it doesn't feel right, if it's not logical, will you listen? And that's the ultimate test. Life's not meant to be easy. It's meant to be a test. So when I think about God, I'm like, oh, so God's testing me. He's testing me, see if I'm going to be aware of the Jake. If I'm going to sell drugs and not let a crackhead trick me, but I'm going to let some white boy trick. It's not going to happen. I already survived the street.
Right.
It's,
But
you know,
it's funny, so many people don't make that equivalence, though.
They got to look at it that way.
Yeah.
It's funny to see my daughter try to like run game on me. You understand? Like after your daughter or your child's like 14,
Yeah.
you're just there to be the Johnny.
Yeah.
They just there to try to trick you on that. And I'm like, yo, you really gonna try to? I used to be a drug dealer.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
But see, that's the test to see you are who you say you are.
That's the point.
Yeah, because if I can trick you, then you're not the man you claim to be.
But the thing is, when you're like, I know the young girl, like she was a baby. She was the most innocent one.
Yeah.
That's the main person
Yeah.
that could come and trick me.
Right.
Well, I could be like, man, that's my little baby. She would. But I remember I had to rewind to when I was young. I was like, the only purpose of my parents was to trick them after a certain age, so I could go outside, so I could get them to give me money, and this kind. It was all. I wasn't trying to hang out. I was just trying to trick them.
That's the rebellious years, though. You know, when you're a teenager, I know some of the smartest children are the ones that rebel against. Well, those are the smartest children because it's natural order. You understand me? That you telling me these are rules. My first thought is why, right? And why do they have to be? And then you get authority that tells you just cause. You understand me? So it's like this slave master, and then it's like, that don't make sense. Then you tell your child to fight for things that's fair, then you're well in trouble for it. Yeah, you giving me the logic to fight against you, though. Right. But then when I use it in this circumstance, I get in trouble. That don't make sense.
That's what happened with my mother.
Yeah.
My mother told me, don't ever, if you don't agree with something, speak up for yourself. And then I started arguing with her.
Yeah.
But I promise you, but my point is, this is, to me, how I look at the people from other walks of life that try to trick me into believing that I'm not great, that I need them to do anything nicely. And then I laugh at them because I'm like, yo, that game is weak.
Right.
It might work with everybody else, and then they don't like how that feels because they're not used to somebody actually speaking up. You have